Okay, so this is for my students doing essays. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to be creative in your essay writing. I realize this is factual and very studious type of writing, but there's still a creativity of knowing how to take the information you've learned and put it into your own words in your own writing, as well as how to get over writer's block and what to do if you don't know what to write. First of all, make sure when you sit down to write that you actually have a plan of what you're writing. Don't just be like, I'm going to write the essay. You should know exactly, I'm going to write the intro, or I'm going to write this section of the body, or I'm going to write about this part of my argument. That way you know from the start exactly what you're writing, and it helps give you focus. If you've done that, now there's two possible scenarios. Either you've done that, you know what you're supposed to write, and you sit down and it's not coming to you, or you've been writing for a while and you're starting to get tired. I'm going to start with scenario one. So you sit down to write, you know what you're supposed to write, but you just can't seem to get it out. One, make sure you're not editing while you write. So take away any worries about correct grammar, correct sentence structure, saying things correctly, whatever. I would even put aside any notes or whatever and just start writing. Don't worry about if it sounds bad. Don't worry about if the spelling's bad. Don't worry about any of that. Just start writing. Take everything you've learned about your topic that you've been researching and just write it, okay? If you're still really stuck on that, what you can do is called flow of consciousness writing, and this is something where you just sit down with a pen and paper or pencil and paper and write whatever's on your mind. So you can set your essay aside for a little bit. Sit down, set a timer for maybe 10-15 minutes, grab a pen or pencil, start writing whatever is on your mind. There's no pressure, no one else is going to read it. You are literally just whatever comes to your brain, you write it. Okay. The idea behind this is it gets that flow going and gets your ideas out on paper. Later, you can go back and edit. So with the flow of consciousness writing, once you've done that for 10 or 15 minutes, try going back to your essay and writing almost a similar style, except this time you are taking the information, the facts that you've learned, and writing it into your essay. You will edit later. Often when you're trying to make sure the grammar and the sentences are right while you're writing, it blocks your flow of creativity. It blocks your ability to focus and think on what you need to say, and it slows you down. So take away that idea of editing and perfect grammar and just write. After it's written, yes, there's going to be a time to go back and edit and fix your grammar and change a lot of things, right? But don't worry about that. Just get the information onto paper first. Okay, now if you have been writing and you've gotten started and you're starting to slow down, that's natural. Keep in mind that your brain, depending on how good you are at focus, you're not going to be focusing a huge amount of time, like over an hour and a half, you're probably not going to do. So if you've been focused and you're wearing down, it's probably a sign that you need a break. Also, keep in mind that a lot of your creative thinking of how you're going to write things and how you're going to do things and present it, and just creative thinking, problem solving in general, happens when you're resting. So it is really important that in between times of focused writing that you take time to rest, whether that be getting some exercise, which is really, really good for your brain actually, taking a break, talking to friends, go take a shower, or sleep, come back to it the next day. A lot of creative thinking and problem solving happens while you're sleeping as well. So sleep is very important. Exercise is important. Talking to people, having a life is important. So if you've been pretty focused and you've been doing pretty well and you feel like you're hitting that block, it's probably time to just go do something else for a while. That pretty much sums it up. The flow of consciousness exercise can really help you. Keep your editor out of the way while you're writing. Do make sure you're referring back to your outline or any organization that you've planned before the essay so you know exactly what you should be talking about at that point. And make sure you're taking regular breaks, you're getting exercise, and you're sleeping. Those things will really help your brain and your focus. Other than that, I hope these tips help you, and if you're still stuck on anything, let me know. Sorry, there's one other tip I was going to say, and I forgot. And so if you're just having trouble getting your ideas on paper and you're you're not necessarily that good at writing, it can help to go explain it. If you're more of a verbal person, explain whatever you're trying to explain, whatever ideas you have, to somebody else in a way that they can understand. A friend, family member, whoever it is. And then once you've explained it to them, go back to your computer or paper, whatever, and write it down the way you explained it verbally. Again, don't worry about perfect grammar or editing as you go or anything. Just write it down, and then you edit later. Okay, so that is another tool that can really help you. That's it. I hope these things help.